If you smell... what The Rock is cooking. Today we're going to be having a look at the Bandai S.H.Figuarts. This is WWE Superstar Series, The Rock. A big thank you to viewer Jeff, who took the time to send this my way. I did an unboxing of this figure. Now we're having a look at the figure itself. Before we do that, let's figure out how tall The Rock is. The People's Champion stands at 6¼ inches in height. Now, with this being an S.H.Figuarts figure, you're going to get a lot of different things. 4 interchangeable heads, as well as a ton of different interchangeable hands. We also get ourselves a microphone. But let's look at that after we have a look at The Rock. Now, The Rock has never looked better, if you personally ask me, this humbled reviewer. I love this figure. Not only is it sculpted exceptionally well, but much like other S.H.Figuart releases, he's superposable. Why don't we first have a look at the defaulted head, which I believe was this head. I have mixed and matched a couple of them. So I think this was the defaulted head that came included with the figure. Shy for a fact that only he's got a little bit of a smudge on that one eyebrow. This other eyebrow is perfectly fine. I think that captures perfectly what Rock should look like. Rock has had a few different looks over the years. Of course, now his biggest look is Hollywood star. So this Rock is omitted the sideburns. He's got no pork chops running down the sides of his face, whether it be the short or the long that ran all the way down to the bottom. That's one of my favorite looks for The Rock. But this is the more cleaner cut Rock with the shorter hairstyle. It's interesting to note, though, that when you change out any one of the heads, the bottom area of the hair still stays intact, which kind of adds a little bit extra space, extra length, I should say, to the head itself. Defaulted, he's got his trunks featuring The Rock on the front, the Brahma Bull on the back. Part of me kind of wishes that it wasn't silver. I mean, Rock has had a couple of different colors, primarily silver, white, red, blue, and yellow being the go-tos, and gold, I guess, to some extent. Kind of wish that they had picked either red or gold. Silver is perfectly fine, granted, yes, but kind of would have dug if they maybe had gone the gold instead. That's one of my favorite colors for The Rock's trunks, if I could be overly critical, which I'm trying. But there's a lot to love about this particular figure. He's got his Brahma Bull tattoo, his famous Brahma Bull tattoo, now sadly gone. We should have a moment of silence for the passing or the departure of Rock's former Brahma Bull tattoo. Instead, now he's got this crazy sort of skull, kind of bull skull happening on the one side. And of course, he's got his Samoan tribal tattoo on the other side. So this is kind of just Rock prior to that, sporting only the Brahma Bull, which I have to admit, the Brahma Bull is very well applied, very sharply detailed. There's no smudging. There's clearly an indication there of exactly what it's supposed to be. And again, it does it very, very well. Other than that, he's got his elbow pads, which are actually painted into the arms rather than being a separate piece. So it keeps all the articulation at bay, and you don't have to forfeit any of that as a result. Knee pads are exactly the same thing, and the trademark open calf, or open, I guess it would be open calf sections of his boots. He's one of the only few wrestlers that I can remember that actually had boots like this, where he had the back opening there. Laces are sculpted in very nicely as well. Like I said, an all-around decent-looking Rock. Now, there's this head sculpt, but he has also a whole range of different head sculpts. He's got the glasses, which I don't know if I would have used these specific glasses with this type of hairstyle, or I would have at the very least given him sideburns for this particular look. He has the glasses. He also has the low face, which we did at the beginning of this review. And one of my other favorite heads, which would probably going to be the head that I may ultimately go to, is the tried and true People's Eyebrow head sculpt. I don't know if it's intentional, but it almost kind of looks like this head sculpt is of a younger Rock versus this one right here, which is slightly a little bit more of an aged Rock. I think it's only just by my own opinion that I think that. Go ahead and change out any one of the heads. You're simply just going to grab the neck of the Rock, which I would only entertain doing with the actual figure. I'd never do that with the real Rock. He would snap me in half. Take the head off very easily, and then replace it with the head sculpt that you want to use. You can see it pops in perfectly fine, and there's the Rock with the People's Eyebrow. And there's the back of the figure. And then on top of that, he comes with a ton of different interchangeable hands. Now, I tried to keep the hands as defaulted as I possibly could, so as a result, he's only got a pair of closed fists. But if you also want to change out a whole bunch of other stuff too with Rock, he comes with a series of interchangeable hands. These are pretty neat looking hands too. So he's got some, let me go through it. He's got some gripping hands. This one actually has like a little bit of a thumb sticking up. He's got a regular gripping hand. He's got another gripping hand for either side. Again, another kind of hand. I mean, these would be ideal for other accessories. Unfortunately, he doesn't come with a whole lot, so some of these other hands may not benefit 100%. He's also got a couple of pointing hands. I'll show you those in a second. And then he's got these neat-looking hands that are grabbing hands, but there's a hinge on them, which means you can hinge the hands back and forth. You can move those 4 fingers. They're a little on the tighter side, but I do like the fact that you can actually hinge them back and forth. One hand I really do like, though, is we'll go ahead and take, he's got 2 pointing hands, because what you can also do too is take out the one hand. Everything on these pop out very easily, and equally so everything pops back into place relatively easy as well. You might sometimes have problems with the hands where the hinges want to kind of flop a bit when you plug them into place, but you can also kind of do the People's Elbow or the People's Eyebrow, or I guess you could really point too. But I might actually just do, I'm trying to think of how he actually did it. He kind of just tilted his head and kind of pointed up to show that he was doing the People's Eyebrow. One of the other hands you can go with too is we'll pop this one hand out. Let's find a hand that has the holding. There we go. Pop that into place. There we go. Nice satisfying snap. One of the other accessories, sadly the only other accessory it comes with is a mic. Now the mic is missing all the trademark images from WWE. Now this is official release from Bandai. I'm wondering why they could not have gotten, at the very least, a WW, I guess at the time it would be WWF logo, or at the very least a Monday Night Raw logo, and you could have put it on there. Sadly, it's just a very basic microphone. But you can put it into his hand. Slides very easily into place. And you can have the Rock addressing the people or making fun of Michael Cole, one of those, or the coach. You usually always like to rip on the coach. Talking about the People's Strudel. Oh, the Rock! Let's go through his posability, shall we? And there's really a lot to touch base on here. The Rock's articulation is the following. His head rotates all the way around. Now he's got a secondary ball joint happening at the base of the neck. Hinges up and down, and technically you kind of rock it back and forth as well. His shoulders are rather interesting because they are on their own hinges. In other words, you can bring the shoulder blades, or the equivalent of the shoulder blades, forward if you want to do it that way, or you can rock them back. Then within the sockets of the shoulders, you get yourself a ball joint, which appears to be a ball joint in 2 places. Of course, you've got your main, which is attaching to the arm, but then it looks like it may plug in via a secondary ball joint inside. So you get actually a considerable amount of range happening from that. If you also had a belt, which sadly the Rock doesn't come with a belt, a title at all, you could do that. I don't know if the Stone Cold, the Triple H, or the, I think the other one was Undertaker. I don't know if any of them come with belts. I would imagine Stone Cold probably will. I'll have to see if I can scope out and see if I can find one. But he does have a swivel in the arm. You can rotate the arm all the way around. He's got a double hinge on the elbow. Then when you get to the hands rotate and hinge back and forth there. Upper torso ball joint, lower torso ball joint. Ball joints on the legs split out, forward and back. You can also bring the legs down too to give you some extra range of motion, and just pop them back into place like so. Double hinge in the knee. Nothing, it seems, in the foot, or in the boot rather, but the foot hinges back and forth, and you got a slight ankle pivot back and forth, and you also have a bend, and a considerable bend as well to boot in the boot of the People's Champion. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the S.H.Figuarts. Let's get him to stand there. That is the S.H.Figuarts WWE Superstar Series The Rock. Long overdue. And the reasoning why I said long overdue is because I've seen these figures before in comic book stores, and I don't know, being a WWF/WWE fan that I am, and specifically a Rock fan, why I never picked up this figure sooner. Again, a big thank you to viewer Jeff, who took the time to pick this up and send it my way. Now I've seen this figure in hand, and of course over the course of this review I've now gotten that itch. I want to see if I can go and get the Stone Cold, I think again the Triple H and the Undertaker. And yes, I'm going to get that itch looked at, probably get some medical attention. In the meantime though, here we have The Rock in final looks, about to pull off the People's Elbow and drop the People's, or elbow pad I should say, and drop down the People's Elbow on one unsuspecting victim, one maybe Shane McMahon, or maybe Triple H, who's to say. I love this figure. I can't even think of what I would have done differently to this figure. It does everything extremely well. A whole bunch of interchangeable heads, a whole bunch of interchangeable hands. Maybe I probably would have not included him with the glasses version, because I just feel, especially him in his wrestling attire, I don't know if I would ever display The Rock with glasses in check. Now, if that is the smallest of any sort of issues that I have with the figure, it's not even really an issue. It's just Bandai didn't need to include that specific head sculpt. I think all the other three work extremely well, with the one with the People's Eyebrow being one of my personal favorites. Maybe what they could have also included was like a smaller ring stand, something in which you could display the figure in. Other than that, this is a perfect looking Rock. He's a good size too. He's not overly big, so I can have him a superposable version of the Rock just kind of sitting in my office, kind of on my desk, and something I can just pick up from time to time and enjoy playing with. I really absolutely love this figure. And again, a big thank you to Jeff for taking the time to send this my way. Today we were having a look at the People's Champion, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. This was the Bandai S.H.Figuarts WWE Superstar Series The Rock. Also, if you guys are interested and you would like to send something my way, whether it be a letter or something to review, I'll put all the information, my mailing information down below. Don't worry, it's a fan address, so it's not where I live. But if you guys want to send anything my way, you can send it to the address listed down below. Make sure as well, if you already haven't had a chance to do so, you hit that little subscribe button that's just below this video. It would allow you to never miss a beat when new videos are coming your way. And as always guys, thanks for watching as you always do. I'll see you guys next time.